Hi guys, welcome to this session of quadratic equation part 2. Last session we saw how to solve a quadratic equation, which was a quadratic equation 1. We discussed what is a quadratic equation. We discussed like how to solve a quadratic equation through the method of factorization or through the method of formula. We saw what can be what are the roots of a quadratic equation, what are the solutions or the roots or solutions of a quadratic equations. So we discussed all of them. So what are the topic which we are going to do today is we are going to see the application of a quadratic equation. Like we are going to solve some word problems, some real life situations which we can face. We will convert those real life situations which are expressed in words in a problem. We will convert those words in an equation form, right? Let's write here. This is a word problems. So we will convert this word to an equation, and then this will be a quadratic equation in this chapter, and then we will solve it. So this is what we are going to do today. So what I would suggest you before we solve any problem, so before we start any problem, I would suggest you that you should pause the video, you should attempt that problem, and once you have attempted it, then resume it back and see how we are going to solve it here. Okay, so that being said, let's start this session. So this is the first problem. As I said before, pause the video, attempt the problem, and then check for the solution. Okay, so I guess you guys have paused the video. Now let's see how we will solve this problem. Let's see our approach. Here it's given the sum of squares of two positive integers is 208. So there are two positive integers. If we sum them up, sum the squares of those positive integers, we will get it as 208. And then what is the next part? If the square of the larger number is 18 times the smaller number, find the numbers, right? So let's see, let the smaller number be x, right? So we let us assume the smaller number be x. If the smaller number be x, then according to this line, then the square of the larger number is 18 times the smaller number. Then what will be, therefore the square of the larger number, what will be the square of the larger number then? Is just given in the problem, right? I'm just converting this word into some expressions. Then because we consider the smaller number as x, as it said here, smaller number, let's consider smaller number x, then the square of the larger number will be 18x. Okay, then let's see the first line, what it's given in the first line. The first line, it said the sum of squares of two positive integers is 208. So the square of this number and the square of this number will be 208. Therefore, according to the problem, what is given according to the problem? The first number x squared plus the other number 18x, because the square of the larger number is given as 18x, right? And the smaller number is x, so we have to square it up, x squared. So the other number square is 18x we have given, equals 208. So what we have to do, we have to find out the numbers, right? So basically we have to find the root of this equation x. So we can just find it, 18 square plus 18x, we can take 208 in this side, equals 0. We have discussed how to factorize expression. So this 80, this is minus here, the operator in front of the constant term is minus, the operator in front of x square is plus, so plus cross minus gives us minus. So we need to subtract, so we need to multiply first this 208 with this term, with this coefficient 1. So we get 208 cross 1 as 208. Let's find the factors of 208 here. 104, 552, 2 to the 4, 2 to 6, to 13, right? So 2 to 4, 4 to 8, it is 16. So we see here, let's multiply this 2 cross 2 and 2 cross 2. This first 3 2's gives us 8, and this 13 cross 2 gives us 26. So you see, if we subtract 8 from 26, this gives us 18, right? So because 18x needs to be expressed as difference of two other terms, and that term should be, we should get those terms from the LCM of 208 and the coefficient of the squared terms. So that's what we already discussed in the quadratic equation 1, how to factorize a equation, right? So what we do here is x squared plus 26x minus 8x minus 208 equals 0. So equals, let's take x as common. If we will get x plus 26, let's take minus 8 as common, we get 8 plus, so 26 equals 0. So 26 cross 8, if you see, 48, it gives us 208, right? So from here again we take x plus 26 as common because it's a common factor in both the terms. We get x plus 26 times x minus 8 equals 0. So from here we get x equals minus 26 or 8. Now you see, it's given here in the question that both are positive integers, right? So if both are positive integers, then therefore when we got x equals minus 26, it doesn't satisfy that condition, right? That both are positive integers. So x cannot be equal to minus 26. Therefore x has to be equal to 8. If x has to be 8, what will be, it's given the square of the larger number is 18x. So what will be the other number then? Therefore the other number will be square root of 18 cross 8. So after that is just a calculation, I guess you can do it. So 18 can be written as 2 cross 3 cross 3. 8 can be written as 2 cross 2 cross 2. So from here we can get 1 2 from here, we get 1 2 from here, we get 1 3 from here. So we write it here equals from 1 2 1 2 1 2, 3 cross 2 is 6, cross 12 is 12. So one number is 12 and other number is 8. So it's relatively a simple problem. We have just converted that word into that word problem which is given. We just converted that into an equation. We expressed the smaller number as x, and we got the square of the larger number is also given. We converted that into an equation and we factorized that equation, and then we got two solutions for x. One is minus 26 and another is 8. And since we said that x cannot be negative because it's given both the numbers are positive, so we eliminated x equals minus 26 and we took x equals 8, and from there we got the other number as 12. So I guess you guys have understood this problem. So we will move to the next problem. So just take your time And after that, then the next problem we will follow the same methodology. First, you guys can pause the video and attempt it before seeing solution to any problems. Give your best shot at it, and that even if you can do it, even if you cannot do it, that's fine, but you need to try it first before seeing the solutions. That way it will help you a lot more than just seeing a solution. Okay, so let's move on. So this is the same problem. I guess you guys have already paused the video and attempted the problem. Now let's start. It's given a 2-digit number is such that the product of its digits is 12. Okay, the first is 2-digit number and the product of the digits is 12. So let's say we have to find the number. So let the unit digit be x. You guys know what is unit digit, right? So if a 2-digit number is like this is a unit digits, this is a tens digit. So this is called the units digit, this is called the tens digit. Okay, and again this is called the hundreds digit, then it will come thousand digit, it goes on like that. So we know what the units digit is x, and you see here it is given the product of both the digits is 12. So what will be the tens digit then? Therefore the tens digit will be 12 over x, right? Because you see that if we multiply both the digits, the unit digit and tens digit, we get 12, and we know the unit digit is x. So what will be the tens digit? It's 12 over x, right? If a cross b equals 12, then what is a? 12 divided by b. We are using the same logic. Now let's go to the second line. It's given when 36 is added to this number. What is the number? The number when the units digit is x and tens digit is 12 by x, 12 divided by x, the number is 12 divided by x cross 10 plus x, right? How do you write a number like AB? We write is 10 times A plus B. How do we write a number ABC? We write it as 100 times A plus 10 times B plus C, right? So this is how we write a number, right? So here it's given as xy. The tens digit is 12x and units digit is x. Instead of A is 12 over x, B is x. So we got the number as 12 over x times 10 plus x. Okay, now let's move on. Let's see the problem now. I will just show it, I will just mark it like that, separate it. Now when 36 is added to this number, which is 12 over x cross 10 plus x, that digit interchange their places. So what is the problem according to the problem? So based on the problem, we can write when 12 over x times 10 plus x, when 36 get added to this number, the digits interchange their places. That means now the digit is not 12 over x and x. This is not the digit now. The new digit is x and 12 over x here. So we can write here this is the new digit, but what will be the actual digit here? If we can write, it will be 10 times x plus 12 over x, right? Now we have to find the number. So basically we have to solve this equation and find the value of x. So let's multiply both sides by x. So we get here 120 plus x squared plus 36x equals 10x squared plus 12. From here, if this x squared we take it to the other side, we get here 9x squared, and if the 36x we take it to the other side, we get minus 36x, and this 120 we take it to the other side, we get 110 and 108 minus 108 equals 0. So you see, we can divide the entire equation by 9. We get it as like this. If we divide the entire equation by 9, from here we can simply factorize the equation using the method we already discussed, how we factorize the equation. This is plus, this is minus, so plus cross minus gives us my negative, and here it is minus, so we will keep a minus here. So 12 times this 1, which is a constant term in front of x squared, gives us 12. So what are the factors of 12? 6 cross 2 is a factor of 12, so we can write 6 minus 2, which gives us 4. So it can be considered as a factor, right? I mean, if we write it, we can factorize the expression well. 6 minus 2, if we write 4 as 6 minus 2, so we get x squared minus 6x plus 2x minus 12 equals 0. So from here, what we can do, we can take x common, which is the common factor between x squared and 6x. X is common, right? So we take x, and it gives us x times x minus 6, plus we take 2 outside, 2 as a common factor between 2x and 12, we get as x minus 6 equals 0. So again, x minus 6 we can take as common, which is a common factor between x minus 6 and 2x minus 6. So when we take x minus 6 as common outside the bracket, we get as x plus 2 equals 0. So from here, it's like a times b equals 0. So as we discussed before in the slide quadratic equation 1, if a times b equals 0, a equals 0 or b equals 0, right? So we get x equals 6 comma minus 2. Now you see, it's a number, right? And we have considered let's just 1 second. Okay, so you see, we have considered the units digit as x. If the units digit as x, x cannot be negative, right? Because if suppose any number, how can a units digit be a negative for any number? It cannot be, right? So we have considered the units digit as x, so x has to be positive. So therefore units digit equals 6 and tens digit becomes 12 over x, which is 6, equals 2. Therefore the number becomes 26. So this will be the answer. I guess you guys have understood the solution of how we solve this problem. We solve this problem based on the simple quadratic equation. We first converted the word problem into a quadratic equation, and we solved that quadratic equation, and then we found the value of x. And when we found the value of x, which we took as an units digit in this case, we found what will be the tens digit, and then we found the number. Okay, so we will go to the next problem. So here is the next problem. Do the same thing. Please pause the video and attempt, and then after you're done, we will solve this problem. Okay, so I guess you have paused the video and given you a shot at this problem. Now let's see how we will solve this problem. It's given the hypotenuse of a right angle triangle is 17 centimeter and the difference between the other two sides is 7 centimeter, and find the other two unknown sides. So if the hypotenuse we have given, you see, one is given, it's a right angle triangle. Okay, just 1 second. Yep. So one is, it's a right angle triangle. This is the first thing it's given, and then we are given the hypotenuse of the triangle. So let's draw the triangle here. It's a hypotenuse is given, it's a right angle triangle. It's given the hypotenuse is 17 centimeter. You know what is hypotenuse? The longest side of a right angle triangle, this one. This is called the hypotenuse. The side opposite 90 degree, that is called the hypotenuse. And the difference between the other two sides is 7 centimeter. Now let's say this is x. If this is x, this should be x plus 7, right? Because it said the difference between the other two sides, like this and this side and this side, should be 7 centimeter. So if one is x, the other should be x plus 7, right? Now it said find the other two unknown sides. Means we need to find what is the value of x and what is the value of x plus 7. So how we will do it? Let's say according to the problem. So based on the problem, what we need to do, we know it's a right angle triangle. I guess you guys know Pythagoras theorem or Pythagoras theorem, which said the square terms of both the sides is equal to the square term of the hypotenuse. It's like x squared plus x plus 7 squared, this is equals 17 square. This is Pythagoras theorem. I guess you guys know what is Pythagoras theorem. In case you don't know, we will discuss this in our geometry chapter. So Pythagoras theorem, it's like this. If it's a right angle triangle, the sum of square of this side plus sum of square of this side will be equal to the hypotenuse square. So this is what Pythagoras have derived a formula, derived a theorem which says this. So we got an equation based on x, a quadratic equation based on x. Now we need to solve what will be the value of x. So let's see. It's like x squared plus x plus 7 square. We can just expand that form, x square plus 2ab plus b square. X square plus 2 cross x cross 7 plus 7 cross 7 cross 7 is 49 equals 17 square is 289. So here we write, it comes out, if we expand it entirely, this x, all these terms, 2x square plus 14x plus 49 equals 289. So from here we get 2x squared plus 14x. If we take 289 to the other side, we get a 0 here, a 4 here, and a 2 here. Okay, now we divide both sides by 2, x squared plus 7x, and we also bring that constant term to the left side of the equation, equals minus 1 or 120 equals 0. Now what we can do is we can factorize this equation. You can solve this by factorization, by the formula method, which is like minus b plus minus root over b square minus 4ac by 2a. Whichever you're comfortable with, it's fine. If it can be factorized, you can just factorize it. You can just check it, and if you cannot do it, if you see we are not getting a constant, we are integer, I mean, it's good to use a formula then. So 120 to 60 to 30 to 15 5 3. Okay, so here we write x squared plus x minus 120 equals 0. This is a minus, this is plus, plus cross minus is minus, so we need to express something as difference, and it should come as 7. So you see, if I freeze a 15, 2 2 is a 4, 2 cross 2 is 4, 4 cross 2 is 8. So 15 minus 8 will give us 7. So we will write 15 minus 8. So from here we get x squared plus 15x minus 8x minus 120 equals 0. So we get, if x is common here from the first two terms, it's x plus 15 minus x. Again we get an x plus 15. 15 times 8 is 120 equals 0. So from here, first two terms, you see x plus 15 is a common term. We can take x plus 15 out and we will get x minus 8 equals 0. From here it's like a times b equals 0, so a equals 0 and b equals 0, right? So similarly we get x equals minus 15 or x equals 8. Now you see it's a side of a triangle, right? Since it's a side of a triangle, x cannot be negative. Since x is side of a triangle, x cannot be negative. Therefore x equals positive. Therefore x equals 8. Okay, so if x is 8, therefore the other side, what will be the other side? It's 8 plus 7 equals 15. Okay, so as we see here, so one side is x equals 8, the other side is x equals 15. So I guess you understood how we did the problem. We considered one side as x, the other side as x plus 7. The hypotenuse is given as 17. How did we get it as x plus 7? Because it's given the difference between the other two sides is 7. If one side is x, the other side needs to be x plus 7. And then we used Pythagoras theorem. So the Pythagoras theorem says in a right angle triangle, especially in a right angle triangle, the sum of these two sides will be equal, the square of the sum of these two sides will be equal to the square of the third side, which is a hypotenuse side. This is given under Pythagoras theorem. And then we got because that's our objective in word problems in quadratic. Any quadratic word problems, we need to convert it into quadratic equation first. So when we convert it into quadratic equation, then we will use the two techniques that we know to find the roots of the equation or the solutions of the equation. One is factorization and one is by formula. So whatever, yeah, I have used here factorization. If you want, you can use by formula too, that's fine. But it's better you know both the ways of how to solve a quadratic equation, because both are very essential. So yeah, so you guys have understood, I guess you guys have understood how to solve this problem. So we will move on to the next problem. So yes, please do the same thing. Please pause the video and give your shot, and then we will solve this problem. Okay, I guess you guys have already attempted this problem. Now let's see how to solve this problem. A trader bought a number of articles for 1200 rupees. So a trader bought a number of articles for 1200 rupees. 10 were damaged and he sold each of the rest at 2 rupees more than what he paid for it. Okay, then he sold each of them at 2 rupees more than what he paid for it. Okay, so what do you need here? Taking the number of articles he bought as x, they have told you, right? They said take the number of articles he bought as x and then form an equation in x and solve it. They have clearly said what you need to do. So let's see how we will solve this problem. Since number of articles he bought, they said it's as x, so how many number of articles the number of articles the trader bought is given as x. So what will be the cost price that trader bought the number of articles for? What will be that price for which the trader bought? Because the trader bought 1200, trader bought the number of articles for 1200 rupees and he bought X number of articles. Therefore, cost price, CP is a short form of cost price of each article. Cost price of each article. What will be the cost price of each article? It is rupees 1200 divided by X. Now he sold each of them at 2 price more than what he paid for it. So selling price of each article equals rupees 1200 over X plus 2, right? Plus 2. Now, and he also said 10 were damaged. Please keep in mind that 10 were damaged. So he did not sell X now. He could sell only X minus 10 because he had X, he bought X number of articles, but 10 were damaged, so he could only sell X minus 10. But he said here also in the last line, here in this line, not the last line, thus clearing a profit of 60 rupees on the whole transaction. So he made a profit of 60 rupees, right? Now let's see how we'll solve this problem. So we know according to problem, here it's given selling price on the entire transaction minus cost price, it's given as 60 rupees. You see here, clearing a profit of 60 rupees on the whole transaction. So what will be the entire selling price? Each article he sold at 1200 over X plus 2, but he sold only X minus 10 articles, because you see 10 were damaged. He told here 10 were damaged because he bought X articles. If 10 were damaged, so it's like 1200, the selling price of each article times X minus 10. And what will be the cost price of each article? The cost price of each article, it's given. The trader brought a number of articles for 1200 rupees, so it's just 1200. That's it. He bought it for 1200 rupees, so you just write 1200 equals 60. So now we need to multiply these terms, this expressions. 1200 over X times X is 1200 minus 1200 12,000 by X divided by X plus 2X minus 20 minus 1200 equals 60. This 1200 gets cancelled with this 1200, and now we can also write minus 12,000 by X divided by X plus 2X minus 80 equals 0. If we multiply both the sides by the term minus 1 and also divide both the sides of the equation by 2 and multiply it by X, then what we get is 6000 plus X squared plus 40X. So what we did, we multiply both the sides by X, so this by X, here it becomes 2X squared minus 80X, and again we divided both the sides by 2, so we got 6000, we got here X, we got here 40, and now we also multiplied both sides by minus, so here this minus becomes plus, this plus should be minus, sorry, and this minus should be plus because we divided both sides by minus 2. So the equation we got here is minus X squared plus 40X plus 6000 equals 0. So if we solve this equation by factorization, the same thing, it's plus and here it's minus, plus times minus is minus, so 6000, we need to find the LCM of 6000. So okay, let's do the last one too. 5 3. Okay, so now let's see how we will get a 40 by subtracting two other integers which are factors of 6000. 5 times 5 is 25, times 3 is 75. What we get here, 10 to the 4, 4 to the 8, 8 times 10 is 80. Oops, sorry. So here you see, if we multiply this to 5 cross 5, we get as 25. If we multiply it with this 2, we get here as 50. If we multiply again with another 2, we get as 100, and the rest is this 2, and 1 5 and 1 3. So if we do that, we get 15 times 2 is 30, times 2 is 60. So here we get as 100, and then the other 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 and times 3 gives us 60. So if we write 100 minus 60, we get it as 40, which we have in the previous equation. So here we get as minus x squared plus 100x minus 60x plus 6000 equals 0. Now we just have to solve this equation, that's it. If we take as minus x is common outside of the first two terms, minus x squared plus 100x, we get as x minus 100, and then we take as minus 60 as common. Next two terms, for the next two terms, we get x minus 100 equals 0. Then what we get is x equals 100 or minus 60. Now can x become minus 60? You see, the number of articles CBOD is at x, so x can never be minus 60. Since it's a number of articles, CBOD is x, therefore since x cannot be negative, therefore x equals 100. That is your answer. So the number of articles he bought is 100. So I guess you guys have understood this problem. Now please move on. I will go to the next slide. Please attempt this problem, and once you are done, we will solve this problem together. Okay. So I guess you have already attempted this problem. Now let's see. Here it's given two water pipes together can fill up tank in 9 times 3 over 8, right? 9 whole 3 by 8. So this is a mixed fraction which is given. Two tanks can fill in this number of hours. So if you want to convert it into a improper fraction, this is a mixed fraction, right? This is a mixed fraction. How do you convert it into an improper fraction, a mixed fraction to an improper fraction? We multiply these terms 9 times 8, and then we add it with this 3, then we divide it with whatever the denominator we have here. So 8 times 9 is 72 plus 3, it's 75 over 8, right? So this many hours it takes for two water pipes to fill a tank. So there is a tank. Suppose two water pipes are filling this tank, one from here, one from here, to fill this tank, and it is taking this number of hours. It's given. Now find the time in which each pipe can fill the tank separately. Okay, and also the pipe of larger diameter takes 10 hours less than the smaller one. So let's suppose let the smaller diameter pipe fill the tank in X hours. Let's say it fills in X hours. If it fills in X hours, then it's given the pipe with larger diameter. It will take little less hours, right? It will take X minus 10 hours, because it's common sense also, although it's given in the problem, but it's common sense that if the diameter of the pipe is more, then it will take less hours to fill the tank. Suppose this is a bigger pipe, this is a bigger diameter pipe. If it's a bigger diameter pipe, it will take less time to fill the entire tank than if it's a pipe with smaller diameter. Therefore, time taken by the bigger diameter pipe to fill the tank it will be less time, right? It will be X minus 10 hours, right? Now you see one thing. Now they have given for 2 water pipes to fill together, they can fill it in 75 over 8 hours, right? So in 1 hour, how much portion of the for both the pipes, let's say I will say this is pipe 1 and this is pipe 2. So for 1 hour, if 1 plus 2 work together, how much time will it take? How much portion of the tank can they fill? In 75 divided by 8 hours, they can fill the entire tank. They can fill the entire tank, which is, let's say, a entire one tank. Now if it's 1 hour, they can fill 1 divided by 75 over 8 equals 8 by 75, right? This part of the fraction they can fill, right? Because I will just write one more statement here so that you guys understand. Suppose in 75 by 8 hours, 1 plus 2 can fill the entire fraction, which is the 1. 1 is the entire fraction, right? That means they can fill the entire tank. The entire tank can be written as 1, right? So in 1 hour they can fill this much of the fraction, 8 by 75 of this 1. You can write as 1, you can write as 100%, whatever. You can write it however you want to feel like. So if you write 100%, then we are converting everything in percent. How much? But here instead of 100%, I wrote it as a fraction 1. So if in 75 by over 8 hours, if it fills a fraction, the entire fraction 1, so in 1 hour, just by unitary method, we will fill this both together will fill this much of the tank. Now it's given, now you see here, the smaller diameter takes X hours to fill the tank. Now individually in 1 hour, the tank 1 will fill how much portion? 1 divided by X. The smaller diameter pipe is 1, okay, and the larger diameter pipe is 2, let's say, just to make it easier. So in 1 hour, this 2 diameter pipe, which is a larger diameter pipe, how much it will fill? It's 1 divided by X minus 10, right? Now according to problem, what we can write according to the problem? It's simple. We have got in 1 hour 1 plus 2 can fill 8 over 75, and individual we got 1 hour 1 can fill this much and 1 hour 2 can fill this much. So it's 1 over X plus 1 over X minus 10. This is equals 8 by 75. Now we will equate this, we will solve this problem. Multiplying both the sides by X and X minus 10, we will get X minus 10 plus X equals 8 times x minus 10 divided by 75. So we bring 75 to the other side. What we get here is 2x minus 10 times 75 equals 8. Here we get x squared minus 10x. Then again we get 75 times 2 is 150 times x minus 750 equals 8x squared minus 80x, right? So you see, we can just divide all sides by 2, I guess. Yeah, let's divide all sides by 2, but before that just let's bring everything on one side. It's 8x squared. If 150x is on the other side, we get as minus 230 minus 230x plus 750 equals 0. Now dividing everything by 2, we get as 4x squared minus 5x plus 236 14 5 times equals 0. So this is what we get. Now it's simple. Now we will just factorize this part. What we get here is 4x squared minus x plus 375 equals 0. So if here it's plus and a plus here, so we give a plus here, and we need to multiply this 375 with the 4. So how much we get? Let's see. 22, 7 for the 28, 30, 12, 15, right? So this much we get, and then now we need to find the factors of 1500. Let's find the factors of 1500. Let's start with 5. So these are the factors of 1500 that we got. Now we need to see what, when added, these factors, among these factors, gives as 115. What when added we get as 115. Let's see. 5 times 5, 25. 25 times 375. So here we see if we multiply this 5 times 5 as 25, and then we multiply it with 2, we get as 50. Then we multiply it with another 2, we get as 100, and then we write here 100. The other factors which is left is 5 and this 3, which is 15. So we get 100 plus 15, we get as 115. Then we get as here as 4x squared. We express it as, we expand the terms, minus 100x minus 15x plus 375 equals 0 here. Then we take 4x as common from the first two terms. We get as x minus 4x and 100x. We get as 25 minus 15. From the second two terms, 15x and 375, we take 15 as common. Minus 15 is common, we get as x minus 25. You see, 25 times 15, we get as 375, right? Okay, and this gives us equals 0. So from here we get as x equals 25 or 15/4. So here is just a decision that you need to take, because if you take x equals 25, let me change the color, it will be easier for you to understand. Okay, so here if we take x equals 25, the other value, which is x minus 10, will be 15. But if you say x here as 15/4, then if we subtract minus 10 from that, we will get something in negative. You cannot say something, you cannot say ours in negative, right? It needs to be positive. So since it cannot be negative, because if x equals 15/4, then x minus 10 is less than 0, right? So you have to say that, so we have to take this value x equals 25, we have to discard this value, and then the time in each pipe, one is 25 and another is 10. So it will be, one will be 25 and another will be 25 minus 10, which will be 15. So this will be the time in which each pipe can fill the tank. So I guess you guys have understood the problem. So we will move on to the next problem then. Please do the same thing. Please try this problem and then we will solve this problem together. Okay, let me change this pen. I guess you have already tried this problem. Let's see. It's saying a peacock is sitting on the top of a pillar. So let's first draw a pillar. Let's go step by step. Whenever there will be in a word problem, we will go step by step. We just need to represent this word into diagrams, which is maybe or numericals, diagrams or equations, right? Diagrams can be geometry and stuff like that. So here it's saying a peacock is sitting on the top of a pillar which is 9 meters high. So they have given this height of the pillar also. Let's go step by step. So they have also said this is 9 meters. Okay. From a point which is 27 meters away from the bottom of the pillar. So this is the bottom of the pillar. So from a point which is 27 meters away, let's say this is A, let's say this is B, and this is AB, and this is 27 meters. So they have given this is as 27 meters. Okay. A snake is coming to its hole at the base of the pillar. So this is the base of the pillar. There is a snake here. It's moving towards the hole. You see, from a point 27 meters away, a snake is coming to its hole which is at the base of the pillar. Okay, seeing the snake, a peacock pounces on it, and it said the peacock is sitting on the top of the pillar. So peacock is starting to pounce on the snake. There will be a peacock which will start to come from here, and the snake will come from here. Now it's said if their speeds are equal, at what distance from the hole is the snake caught? Now, since their speeds are equal, so they will get caught somewhere here. Let's say they are caught somewhere here. But the thing is, since their speeds are equal, the distance the snake will cover and the distance this peacock will cover at same time is same, right? Because they are caught at some point. Let's say this was at time t equals 0. Here also the peacock started its journey from time t equals 0, and then both of them met here at t equals t. So the time duration for both the peacock and the snake is t minus 0, right? T equals t and t equals 0, t minus 0. So it's the t seconds, let's say t seconds for both the peacock and the snake. So during the t seconds, they both will, since their speeds are equal, they both will travel the same distance, right? So let's say the snake has traveled x distance, which is from here to here. Let's say this is x. And then the peacock will also travel x, which is from here to here. So this will be x then. Now what it says, at what distance from the hole is a snake caught? So we need to find out. This is the so hole is here. Hole is at the base of the pillar. So at what distance from the hole the snake is caught? So this will be the distance from the hole. It will be 27 minus x. Now we need to find out what is the value of 27 minus x. Now you see, we know this as 27 minus, this is a right angle triangle, right? Because it's top of a pillar. This is a right angle triangle. So according to the problem, similarly we will use the Pythagoras theorem, which we solved before in a problem. In another problem we used Pythagoras theorem or Pythagoras theorem. So the square of this side plus addition with the square of this side will be equal to the square of the hypotenuse, right? So 27 minus x squared plus 9 squared equals x squared. So if we solve this problem, let's say what we get when we multiply 27 by 27. So we get a 729. So we get a 729 plus x squared minus 4754x plus 81 equals x squared, right? So here we can just simply, we don't even need to do that. That's what it looks like. We don't even need to do that. If we take both x squared out, we can find the value of x from here. That's fine. First let's do that, then we will see if we can solve it in another method. If we take 54x to the other sides, we get 729 plus 81 here. So let's see what is 729 plus 81. It's 10, 1, 10, 11. It's 8, 1, 10. So 54x equals 8110 equals 8110 divided by 54. So we get here x equals 15. Therefore the distance which we need to find from the hole the snake is caught is 27 minus x, which is 15, and we will get as 12 meters. So this is the answer. So what I was we solved it like this. So I was just thinking, if it's 27 minus x squared, no, I don't think we can do that. I was trying to see if we can directly find it from here. If we take this as a subject, 27 minus x squared, if there is any way we can directly find it, what will the value of x squared minus 9 squared, which is x squared minus 81. So I think no, it's better, the easiest way is we just expand the form and then we find the value of x, and from there we subtract that from 27, and then we get the answer which is asked in the question, the required answer which is asked in the question. So I think we are at the end of our presentation for quadratic 2. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. We will see you in the next video. So here we discussed, just to brief them out, so we discussed first in the first slide of quadratic 1, what is a quadratic equation? It's a polynomial. That's a quadratic expression with degree 2, polynomial with degree 2, where degree is called the highest power of the variable x. So we discussed what is a quadratic equation. So we discussed that, what is a quadratic equation. So what is a quadratic we discussed. Then we discussed what are roots of a quadratic equation, and for quadratic we always have two roots. We discussed that, and then we discussed we find the roots through factorization, and then we saw we can also find the roots through formula, and then we discussed in the formula there is something called discriminant. So discriminant D. So from the discriminant D we can understand what will be the nature of the roots based on whether D is greater than 0 or D is equal 0 or D less than 0. So we discussed that also, what is the discriminant, how to find the nature of the roots, and then we solve in this slide word problems, which are various mathematical problems which we converted to graphs like diagrams, which are sometimes like this problem. We first converted them into diagrams, and then we also, and for sure we converted them into quadratic equations, and then we solved the quadratic equation and we got the answers, the required answers. So this is our way of approach that we will do for a quadratic equation. So I just summarized a bit here so that you guys understand what is quadratic equation and how we got the required answer to all the problems. So yeah, that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you in the next video too. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.